Are all our mics
perfect.
good?
Yep. Everyone sounds good.
Awesome.
All right. If we sound good, you want to count us in?
Yep. 3, 2, 1, go.
Boom. Welcome to another episode of Necro Electric.
Oh, ow.
I'm your host, Sean D. Skellington. This little pumpkin queen right here is my wife, Kylie. And we got Lil Wayne's ex-wife, Jordan Chetelat here. And then today we got a couple new guests from the What's Your Excuses podcast. We got Megan and Catlin. Say what up.
Hello.
Hello, what up?
Hello.
And don't be shy on me.
We're just a little,
As we
everything's so official. I just get my face on this mic. Sorry. Oh, God.
As we get this thing started, we have a goal to try to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yep.
So we have a new segment called Fans of the Podcast, Friends of the Podcast, whatever. And this week, you will recognize this guy from the Steebee Weebee show. This is Little Ray.
How you doing there? My name is Lil Ray. I'm just taking a poo right now. Make sure you check out my man Sean Skellington's podcast, Necro Electric, man. Let's get her done. Woohoo!
All right, thanks to Steebee Weebee and Little Ray. Subscribe to the Steebee Weebee show. And let's get into this. What's our theme?
Our theme today is awkward situations. Awkwardness of all kinds.
Which I was asking Kylie, I was like, so how is that different than embarrassing moments? She's like, well, not every awkward moment is embarrassing. And I was like, I don't know. Like, things are still pretty embarrassing for me.
See, but I'm on the same page because I was asking my boyfriend, I was like, what awkward moments have I had? Because I don't realize that they're awkward until someone is like, oh my God, Megan, what's wrong with you?
You're like, I'm totally normal.
I'm like,
what are you
what?
talking about?
I'm just talking. And he's like, no.
See, I wish I lived in that world because I instantly know when I'm being awkward. Like, I can feel it in my face. I'm just like, oh shit, bail, dude, bail.
Yeah,
and
see,
it just, no.
My boyfriend calls me a social assassin like Larry David because he's like, you just can't be in social situations. You're bad at them.
Yeah, I feel like my whole life is just an awkward moment. Like,
Yeah, there you go.
I
Just a
exist, and I'm just
constant
like,
awkward moment.
people try to meet me for the first time, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I love meeting new people.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I met you at the East Side Market.
That's right.
how I met this girl over here.
I was on a fun drinking
And-
bender.
Yeah. maybe the beer helps.
It did.
Is that why we brought
That's
some
why
beers
we brought
tonight?
it.
Cheers.
Feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm the same way. People have accused me of just it being on too much. You know what I mean? Because I grew up with just personality just always on.
Oh.
Just being myself too much and
Yeah.
not like,
Yeah, fuck them.
you know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Stop being yourself
Suck a
so
dick.
much.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I cuss too much. I
Same.
fucking...
Yeah.
I'm inappropriate, but not in a malicious way.
Yeah.
That's the feedback. That's what we get for our podcast most of the time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
every time I'm like, yo, Mom, what'd you think? She goes, well, you cussed a lot.
Yeah. You guys swear a little too much.
I think
Raise
that's
you like a sailor.
I'm like,
I think
yes,
that's the
you did,
complaints for most podcasting parents. They listen and they're like, maybe you should tone down the F word a little, just a little
I
bit.
constantly
Yeah.
have to say, cut that out. My dad listens.
Yeah. That's like
my
our
favorite
slogan
line.
for the show.
Yeah.
Cut that out. Caitlin's dad will hear it.
Except for he doesn't actually listen. None of my family does. What's up?
Oh, there you go.
See, I tried to make my mom listen to ours, and
Yeah.
she literally, we got halfway through it, and I mentioned, in our first episode, I mentioned how I went to a Camp Gladiator and bled through all of my clothes and was
Oh,
like,
fuck.
I have to go home.
Carrie
and I
style.
let my mom listen to it, and she goes, oh my God, Megan, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. It was a
Yeah.
rough day.
Yeah, my mom, that's like pretty much the first thing. We only talk every once in a while, and that's pretty much the first
Yeah.
thing she says is, you don't really have to share everything
Yeah.
you know, that's going on, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but see, I do. But I
But
do.
it kind of
Overshare.
But I think it's
Yeah.
their generation, like that whole, like, generation will always try to hide shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're
Where
like,
I
just
think like this one, we're just like, let's just talk it out.
it.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
have
have
that
no
button.
shame. People,
Yeah.
someone asked me recently, they were like, what's your guilty pleasure? And I was like, I don't have one. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah, man.
And if I want to
always-
say something, I will fucking say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always tell people, I'm like, they're not guilty pleasures. It's just a pleasure, and you should not feel guilty for things that you
Yeah.
like.
Like,
Yeah. Well,
Everything.
speaking of family and awkward moments, I had one this past Friday. Oh my God, I'm still like a little bit mad about it. So, okay, they shared a picture of the podcast talking about the episode coming up in this next week or whatever,
I know
and they
what you-
tagged me in it, and I didn't think anything of it. Like lately, I've been just kind of in a fuck it mood. Like I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And my grandma, on
Oh,
my dad's
yeah.
side, she has a tendency to comment the most negative stuff on my particular page, especially if it's kind of dark or weird or whatever. And so I saw that she commented on the photo. I was like, oh shit. So I go to look at it, and all it says is yuck.
It was a photo of all three of us.
It was like a poster like that, you know? It wasn't even that crazy.
And the only thing that I can think of why she said that was because like Kylie was flipping the bird, but she wasn't. I don't know. There wasn't.
Yuck.
There wasn't
Yeah.
anything else gross or there was
Yeah.
nothing. It was just the three of us, and I was so mad. But then I thought, oh my God, Kylie and Sean are gonna see that, and they're gonna be so upset. And like they
No.
texted
Yeah,
me, they were
I
like,
got a notification and I was like, who the fuck is this?
And I was like, I laughed at it, and then I was like, I'm gonna light this chick up. And then she's like, wait a minute, hold on, it might be like related to Jordan or something.
Yeah, I was like,
Like,
before you get crazy with this woman,
God,
find out who
awkward,
she is.
awkward turkey. Let me tell you. And I was like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
my grandma. I'm sorry. Like she's just uber religious, and they were like, no, like they were like both sending laughing
Yeah.
emojis, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
whew, I'm glad that you weren't like mad because damn,
but-
like.
we don't get mad.
Jeez.
We think
Yeah.
it's funny for the most part.
Yeah. Haters are welcome.
wait, was it on Instagram?
It was on Facebook.
Okay, I was
Oh.
like, man, your grandma's on Instagram. Like, she's
No,
pretty hip.
she's got a new profile like every 6 months because she can't remember the password to her
no.
profile, so she just
Oh my
creates a
God.
new one.
Does she get a new email each time?
I don't know. It's so
you have to.
Yeah, I think
strange.
you have to.
Yeah.
I'll
Mom-
just
literally,
That's a lot
my
of
mom did the
trouble.
same thing,
many
and she was like, somebody hacked my face account because she forgot her password.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Cause I saw a new profile." I'm like, "Why'd you make a new one?" Because all her like photos of like our kid and everything's on there. She's like, "Somebody hacked it and deleted it." I'm like, "I can still see it. It's
Yeah.
still, if I type your name, there's 2 accounts, Mom." And she's just
So frustrating trying to explain technology to like old people.
yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
catch myself saying like something new comes out and I'm like, fuck, I can't figure this out.
Yeah.
That's me. all
Fuck,
the
I'm getting
time.
old.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah,
it's
but
me at work right now.
awkward stories.
Really?
I got
Yeah.
a super
What do you
funny
do
one.
for work?
I just started serving again,
Oh,
doing
okay.
waitressing, and I work with a lot of like 22-year-olds,
Oh yeah.
and like 4 of them have come up to me and been like, "So how old are you?" And I'll say I'm 29, and they go, "Oh, I thought you were way younger." And then I'll be like, "Yeah, I get that a lot." And then
Way
they'll go,
younger.
and then they'll go, like, "I thought you were a lot younger than you are." And I have to tell them like, "Okay, that's enough. Once is a compliment, it's quickly turning into an insult."
Yeah,
Stop.
right?
Like, I don't do this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a tattoo artist for 10 years, so I ran into like all kinds of fucking awkward situations.
Oh yeah.
This one chick came in, and because I mean, especially like I worked at a street shop, and I was like broke all the time, so like you got to take every tattoo that you get.
Right.
And this chick came in one time, and she wanted a cat with an umbrella, but she wanted it on the
On her
back.
butt?
Yeah, well, sort of on her thigh, right under where your butt kind of like curves.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I was trying to like tell her, but I don't want to piss her off because I need the money, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, but this looks really weird because it's a cat, like, you know, with an
Holding
umbrella.
an umbrella.
You're pooping on it.
Which is
Yeah.
weird, first
Yeah,
of
looks
all.
like you're-
You're just pooping on that cat's umbrella.
Yeah,
It's
basically.
just
And like her friends are there, and she's
it out in
like,
the
"It's gonna
shit
look so
store."
cute when I'm wearing my bikini." And I'm just like,
not.
"Are you sure you don't want to put this on like your wrist or ankle or something?" She's like, "No, it's gonna look so
How big
sexy."
was it?
It was like that
Oh,
big.
gonna
no,
look
that's not big
sexy.
enough
It's-
for that area either.
It was
You
big.
have to cover it up, you know, 6-7 months out of the year. Like,
Yeah.
that's
But
weird.
it just looked really weird.
Yeah, that's very awkward. Did you do it?
Yeah, I did it. Fuck yeah, I did it. I had to eat.
You're like, all right, bend over.
I was probably like 25 at the
All right,
time.
I'm gonna tattoo a turd above it. So get ready.
Yeah, dude, there was all kinds of awkward tattoos. I remember this one chick. She was probably early 60s, like mid 60s.
Oh, okay.
Like just got divorced. Brought another one of her like divorcee friends with her.
Yeah.
And we're in there, and she's like being all flirty with Kelly and all this
Oh,
stuff, right? And she was like, I've never ran into too many of these kind of chicks, but she was kind of a sleazy chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
60 years old.
At 60 years
What does
old,
that
right?
look like?
Hell yeah.
She had like
Kaylin in 40 years.
she was wearing like shit she shouldn't have been wearing, you know?
100% me.
Something beat.
Oh, malfunction.
Uh-oh. We were having too much fun.
Is that the... Did we accidentally switch cameras?
We were laughing too hard.
Yeah.
It was like, nope.
It was like, this is too awkward. I'm out.
No, it was just a glitch.
Our face is broken.
You're so ugly. They're monsters. I'm a monster. Buster.
Yeah, but she came in and then she wanted a tattoo of like the Cobra Kai head, like
Yeah.
the Viper head.
Oh, yes.
She wanted
Yeah,
that
I'm
on
hip.
the inside of her thigh, right?
Ooh.
And then I'm like looking at her leg.
Where do you find these people?
They just came in
They
the
find
shop.
him.
Yeah.
They seek
And
him
she's
out.
like being all flirty and gross, right? And then I didn't want to do it, and I was like $350. It was only like like this big
Yeah.
or whatever. And she's like, sure, sounds
Deal.
good. And I'm like, oh man. And then
Plus $200
So-
tip.
yeah. And then it was towards the end of the night, so I was like, all right, we'll come back tomorrow. Wear like some like gym shorts or something comfortable, because it's gonna hurt, and you don't want to do any of that. Nothing you want to get tattoo ink on, right?
Let me guess. She wore like...
She just comes
A
in
thong.
panties.
She wore no panties, and she wore a like a mini skirt, and then it had like a lacy thing that went over her that
Oh,
part.
she was trying to seduce you.
It was not
Chachi.
good, right?
Just lace over the chachi.
Yeah, and then
Oh my
she
God.
brought cash, right? And then I'm like, and Kelly's making fun of me. He's like, oh, you gotta go fucking in that cabbage patch and tattoo, this leg.
No.
And and it's harder to tattoo older people anyways because their skin's more elastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the whole time I'm like tattooing, like I'm trying to like do this as clean as possible, and I'm stretching, but it's like your snatch is like literally right there.
I feel awkward just listening
You had to wear a
this.
mask.
And I'm trying to get this over with as quick as I can. And then she brought that friend with her again, and you have to use green soap, clean
Yeah.
the tattoo as you're going. And their friend's like, "Ooh, he just squirted you," and it's like
Not
old lady
helping.
sexual harassment,
I don't like any
and I'm just
of
like,
it.
I'm trying to be nice. I'm like,
Yeah, there's nothing you can say. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, good one.
yeah, it was awkward as fuck.
I'm not gonna vomit when you leave.
Yeah. God.
No, I used to be a piercer at a shop, and someone came in and wanted their nipples pierced, and so like you have to get them hard to pierce it. This nipple would just not get hard. Finally, I had to be like,
Limp
I
nip.
have to get a cup of water and like
Yeah.
straight up, like just like
Play with it.
Can you
Flick it.
dip your nipple in this little Dixie cup?
Get the bite on this chick. Is a chick's nipple? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was just like, I just had to sit there for like 5 minutes, just like tweaking. And it was a friend of mine. I had to like sit there for like 5 minminutes, like tweaking my friend's nipple, just like,
Yeah, that's pretty awkward.
how close are we gonna get today, guys? This is
Are we
great.
good friends now?
It was an experience.
I feel like any piercer that does like erogenous areas, like they are your best friend now. Like you just pierced my clit. Like I
Yeah.
can tell you my whole life story now.
Yeah.
That's
See,
how I ate
it's-
my waxer.
I only got waxed
Waxers.
once
Yeah.
by a stranger, and then was
Nah,
like,
Julie's my
"Well, I
homegirl.
can never look you in the eyes again.
Yeah.
Goodbye forever."
I thought it'd be weird. I don't know.
Well-
I felt completely natural. And then
Really?
so now all the time I'm just like, What up?
Yeah, you invited her. You invited her to our 4th of July party. Was it 4th of July? Yeah, you invited her to our. Yeah.
Do you introduce her like, hey, this is the girl that waxes my
Vagina.
Chachi.
All the time.
Yeah.
Does it
Like,
feel
it's Julie. She waxes my whole body.
Does it feel super awkward to be the only dude in here and we're like nipples,
And we're talking about
vaginas,
nipples
woo.
I opened up with a story about bleeding through my clothes,
Yeah.
so I feel like you got
Okay.
to feel for my vibe real quick.
Then
Yeah.
kids, like,
I had
feel
a
like-
hairdresser friend named
all, right?
Becca.
Yeah.
She was the same way because she used to like, cut hair and stuff, but then she'd wax people's assholes and shit.
Yeah.
And then we'd be at like Ale House.
Becca did?
Yeah, Becca. She
I
still
didn't know
does.
she did that.
Shout out to Becca.
I'm going to visit Becca.
Yeah. But we'd be at the Ale House, and then a girl would be walking by, and they'd be like, "Hi, Becca." And she'd be like, "I waxed her asshole."
Yeah.
She's got a cute butthole.
Yeah, it's a real nice
I
balloon
do
knot.
always wonder, like, I'm like, does she go, like, tell people, like, about my vagina?
She tells you
Yeah.
about your perfect
Oh, yeah.
asshole
For
and
sure
They do.
vagina.
Probably.
Probably like, that girl.
For sure.
I
You
know I
this
would.
stuff.
Weird down there.
If I did that, or if I was like a gynecologist, I'd be talking about people's vaginas all day long.
So a friend of mine went to
This
her
one that I went
gynecologist, and her gynecologist was like, "You've got a really nice cervix," and she
Really?
was like, "Thank you.
God,
Can
that's
you finish
awkward.
this? I've got to go now."
Yeah.
And like, it's at the same time that
That's
like
an awkward
you don't know
experience
this, but they will always say like, "Just relax.
Yeah.
Just relax
Hell
while
no.
I'm inserting this to stretch you
Yeah,
out."
talk about awkward.
And then he's like,
I don't even know
"Just
what a
relax.
cervix is."
Great cervix."
No, you did.
It's
Remember,
horrifying.
there was this meme going around on Facebook, and it was a picture of that tool.
The
that
like
opens-
alligator
Oh,
clip.
yeah, yeah.
And I was
It's
like,
like-
Sean, what is this? It was like, show your husband. I bet he doesn't know. And he's like, that goes in your thing to open it, right? And I was like, how do you know that?
Oh my god. Yeah, no, and it makes that noise where it's like,
Yes.
and I'm like, cool, just crank it open.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
It sounds like you're winding me up to let me go.
Yeah, I swear I'll perform a great song and dance after this. Like, it's my very own music box.
Yeah.
'Cause box.
Oh, man.
Those doctor visits are pretty awkward.
One time I went to the gynecologist. So that is a throwback to one of our episodes too. Because I started it with saying, last time I went to the gynecologist. Anyways, I did. It was like, bring your student to work day. I don't know. But it was like this. It wasn't a room full. It was 2 people, but 2 people inside your vagina is too much.
Yeah,
Like,
too
when
many.
it's not invited.
Yeah.
Also too many for any situation at once.
What invitation is that? I want to know that invitation. I'm just like, and boom.
But no, it was terrible. That was awkward. Because then
Oh,
she was
no.
like, do you mind if I bring this student in here to look? And I was like,
And you can't say no because
No,
then
you
you're
don't.
the asshole.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, I'm already in these stirrups. Might as well.
You're already
I already got
spreading
my
while
feet
she's asking.
8 feet high.
she like knocks and she's like, do you mind if this student comes in? And I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Bring in the
my
whole
vagina's
shoulder.
already out. Bring the
Yeah.
whole office in.
Yeah.
Would have been funny if you knew him though. Like,
And I would go, get out.
I see, like, I became friends with my gynecologist when I like started seeing him because so this is weird. He knows my parents like personally, like they're all
Oh.
friends, and like he's been like my mom's gynecologist forever, and like he knows my dad, and like it's
He knows
and
Wow.
so
I
like
wonder if
the
he can
first
see, like,
time
he's been all up in the whole family.
it's like
I see the family
You've
resemblance.
really got your mom's ovaries. Congratulations. But the first time I saw him, I was like, hey, like, I'm super irregular, whatever. And he was like, okay, we're just going to put you on birth control. And I was like, all right, well, my dad was giving me shit about that. And he goes, I don't give a fuck what your dad says. Like, just tell him to shut up.
Yeah.
But like we've become friends over the years to where like I'll be there in the stirrups and he'll be like, so what do you think about what's going on in the country? And we'll just sit there and talk politics.
talking Trump while you're.
And like, yeah, like we'll sit there and talk politics, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah. And people will tell me like, it's weird that you talk about politics and like your everyday
don't talk
life
at
with
all.
your
What do you think about that
gynecologist.
border wall?
Yeah, he was like, so who do he asked me? He's like elbow deep in my vagina, and he's like, so who do you think is gonna win this election? You think your girl's got it in the bag? And I was like, yeah, I think your guy won't shut the fuck up and he's going to fuck himself over. And like, we're sitting there talking and then he's like, can you get me a fucking ladle? I don't know what he needed, but he was just like, can you get, and I'm like sitting there with this nurse, like talking to her. And I was like, so what's going on, Linda? How are things?
First
The
name
kids?
basis.
Yeah. Like I call him by his first
Yeah.
name. Like we're friends.
Yeah.
But I like, and when I had to get my like implant, my Nexplanon taken out, I could hear him outside of the room being like, does she still have that fucking stick in her arm? And because he had told me like, don't get another one. And then I was
Yeah.
like, fuck that. I'm getting it again.
Oh gosh.
And so I could hear him and I just yelled like, yes. And he like pops in and is like, are you eavesdropping? And I was like, I answered your fucking question. You're welcome. And he was just like, you're the fucking worst. But
kinda
it makes
sweet.
it so much
Okay, thanks,
better
Doc.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I feel comfortable with you
Yeah.
elbow deep in my vagina.
it'll
So
probably
I guess
be
that's
gynecologist.
fine.
Yeah.
We got time for a sponsor real quick.
Yep. This episode is brought to you by Dark and Jury Clothing. Dark and Jury is a edgy fashion and lifestyle brand that embraces great design and unsurpassed quality. Dark and Jury has quickly gained a following amongst fans of the occult, horror, punk rock, heavy metal, and all-around free thinkers and retailers worldwide without shoving a preachy, trendy, or political message down your throat. So buy the best, fuck the rest. darkandjuryclothing.com.
Boom.
Boom.
Buy that shit. Help me buy more pizza.
More pizza. Pizza is good.
I think it's kind of sweet that you're friends with your gynecologist.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
As do I.
I think hospitals in general are awkward.
They are.
When I was a kid, or not a kid, I was probably 20, but I didn't sleep for like 3 days, and I was like super exhausted, and I actually gave myself shingles.
Wow.
It's like thing. It's like a
number one
stress
fear.
disease. It's like in my vein, your veins like pop through your skin.
It's like your nerves. It's
Yeah,
a
your
nerve
nerves.
issue.
Yeah. And like it's so painful, and I hadn't slept, and I was like skateboarding by
Don't
Kaiser.
like 60-year-olds usually get that?
Tip-
Yeah,
typically.
it's like old.
Yeah.
You have to be like under a great amount of
Why did I
distress.
think
get
I've
that.
always thought shingles was a rash?
It is. Well,
It
it
looks
kind
like
of
a rash.
is. It, like
Yeah.
it's
It was
pussy.
really like this
My
big
whole
on my
life
back.
is a lie.
Yeah, and it only happens on one side of your body
Yeah.
because it has to do with the nerves. And I had a friend who had it, and
Yeah.
then I thought I
And
had
like,
it, so
I was
I
skateboarding by,
WebMD'd it a lot.
and like it was just crippling pain. And I was like, shit, man, like fucking, I'm just gonna go to the hospital, right? Because I had insurance. And I went, I got it checked out. They're like, oh, okay, you need sleep and like rest and water. You're like young, don't worry about it, right? And I was like, okay, cool. And then I get into the elevator. It's like this big old elevator. And this Asian chick walks in, and she's on her phone, not paying attention to anything. And she doesn't see me just chilling on the side. And she gets in, and then she rips ass in the fucking elevator, right?
Yes.
And I was like, whoa. And then she like was like, and then she gives me a dirty look.
Like you
right?
did
Oh,
it.
like you did it?
I don't know what her thing was.
We're
She
the
gave me like
only
a dirty
two in
look,
here.
and then she like backed away from me, you know. And I was just like you're the one that ripped ass, dude. Like I got to sit
Oh,
here
Why are you
for
mad
3
at me? I
floors.
didn't shit your pants just now.
Yeah, you know.
That's so awkward.
But it was like super awkward. It was like 3 floors. I had to
It's
go
even
down.
more awkward when like you don't hear the sound and all of a sudden you just
just
smell
smell
it.
it.
Like,
Yep.
And you're like, what the fuck? Who was that?
Yeah.
And then everyone just is
And
like,
then everyone's gonna think you're like, are they gonna think it's me?
Yeah.
There's like 5 people in here.
See, I'm that person that like when that smell hits, this is
Yeah.
one of those moments where I'll just go like, smells like shit.
Smells like shit.
And then my boyfriend will be like, what is the matter with you? And I'm like, that smells like shit.
Yeah.
That's not my fault. I didn't do it. Did you shit? And he's like, oh my God, please stop. And it can be strangers.
You're like,
I
"It
don't
was
care.
you."
I will call it out 100%.
Yeah.
Have you ever
No
gotten
filter.
have you ever gotten unrighteously angry? That's always awkward to me. Like when you get angry at a person for something and it's not even like really their fault. When
Yeah.
I did that just like 20 minutes ago before we got here. Because I needed batteries, and then I was gonna go across the thing, and then I was like, do you want me to get beer or not? And she was like undecided whether she wanted it, and then I went and got the beer and forgot the batteries, and then I came back and I'm like, fuck, I forgot the fucking battery, because I hate this
Like you
store
were
over
going
here.
to the
Yeah.
store for the batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like super judgy over here at this
Yeah.
little supermarket.
Yeah.
I fucking hate going there. And then I was just projecting because I was fucking angry. I had to go back into it.
Yeah.
I know which supermarket you're talking about because
You
I
do?
used to go there as a child. We used to
Yeah.
live over here. It's a lot of old people.
Yeah.
And very judgy.
I walk in there, I feel like everybody grabs their purse.
Yeah. I'm like, no.
Pulls
They
out
grab their
crosses.
children.
What's all over his arms? Yeah.
honey.
When me and my fiance first started dating, I have trust issues when it comes to dudes because I dated a guy in LA for about a year and a half, and then I found out that he had a girlfriend for 10 years that lived in a different state.
Fuck.
Yeah, so I have trust issues, and so I'm Snapchatting with Oscar, my fiance, and I see in his Snap stories, it's a picture of sushi, and he says, "Just getting sushi with my boo," and it wasn't me, and I was like, this motherfucker. Like, I can't believe you. What the? And I was
down.
like pacing in my room. I was like, what? Who could that be? Who could it be? And so I finally texted him, but it was as sweet as possible. I was like, so who is this boo you're talking about? Smiley face. And he took a picture of his best friend, who was this giant dude. And they were like
my
playing video
God.
games, and I was like, oh. Okay, cool. Good night. Like, on my phone. I was like, damn, I got angry for nothing.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Chicks hold that shit in. Like she'll get mad about
You're
something.
in a room full of chicks, so you better be careful.
Yeah,
What
dudes
you
do
say
it
right
too.
now.
Dudes do it too.
Go
Kylie,
ahead.
But yeah, go ahead.
Kylie will get like,
battles.
she'll have something that she wants to talk about, but she won't talk about it all day. And I'll be like, you cool? You got a problem?
And I'm like,
And she's like, I'm fine. And then like
Great.
2 minutes before I'm about to go to sleep at like 1 a.m, she'll be like, so.
So, remember
Whatever,
that thing you
you
said
know,
3
like-
days
I've
ago?
got you cornered.
I'm like, really? And it's normally like something like super ridiculous, you know?
I'm
In
fine.
your eyes, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm fine, but I think it's just funny that, you know.
Yeah. I'm fine, but like just a heads up.
Yeah.
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 Next time, don't.
Other awkward things. First kisses can be awkward.
Oh God, every time.
Super awkward.
Like still, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay,
They are still- they're
I'm
so
probably like
awkward.
the only one who's still like actively dating people, and every time I'm like, I don't know. And even like as an adult,
Yeah.
I feel like in that like split instant, if someone is not sure of themselves, like because some people are and they'll just go for it, and I'm like, bless you. Like,
Thank God.
God, you know what the fuck you're doing. But some people, they like.
They do the bird peck.
Yeah,
Trying to-
and then or they'll like still like put their hand out. Like I'm like, what is this? A goddamn 4th grade? Like grab my fucking hand and kiss me.
Yeah.
Have you ever been asked?
Can I kiss you?
Yep.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
weird.
Lucky
actually,
you.
yeah,
That's awkward.
Lucky you if you haven't.
What is that
But
like?
we're living in the age of consent,
was
and
like,
so
it is
now people are
nice,
afraid if
but-
you don't,
Yes.
then you're gonna like be screaming
Yeah.
rape or something.
This was before all of that. This was like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So like it was
Can I
just
kiss
like
you? And I'm like, I'll fucking guess.
it was. Well, here's the thing: is for me, I'm like, if you have to ask, then you probably know that the answer is no.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna ask, because
Yeah.
I was like
Clear
hanging out
signs.
with this dude, and we're like just talking, like literally just like conversing, not like talking like the kids do now, but like we're like sitting there conversing, and he goes, "Hey, I have a question," and I was like, "Please don't do
Like
this."
face to face.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like and this
I
close
was
to
like,
each other.
It'd be fucking weird if it was over text.
And we're like this. Yes, come over now.
Can I kiss you?
And so we're like talking, and he goes, "I have a question." And in my head, I'm like, "Oh God, no." And then he goes, "Can I kiss you?" And I literally just went, "No, thank you." And he was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Well, I have to leave. Goodbye." And just like bounced.
Yeah, rejection's awkward.
And I don't do it. Like, let's just make this a real depressing moment. I'm not usually the one that's like, I'm going to reject you. So whenever I had to do it, I was like, goodbye. It was kind of like when I broke up with my first boyfriend, and he cried in my bedroom, and I said, well, I'm going to give you a minute to like clean yourself up. And then I think you should probably leave. And I left my bedroom. I was like, bye. And then I lived with my parents, and they were like, "What's happening?" And I was like, "He's crying."
You should have brought him back a tampon.
And then she was like, my mom was like, "You just walked out?" And I was like,
What else am I supposed to do?
It's so that is awkward. It's like sitting there while someone else cries.
Yeah.
Like even if they're like your best friend and like you're consoling them, but still it's just like
I think I'm just not great with
There.
others' emotions. I'm like,
See, my problem is that I start to cry because I'm deeply empathetic, and so if somebody close to me starts crying,
If you're the one breaking it off, you cry.
well,
Oh,
I've
I
never had
cry
anyone
every time
cry
I'm breaking it off.
while breaking it off. Like they've always been kind of pissed at me, mostly because we've only like been dating for a little while, and I'm like, yeah, I just want to keep dating other people, and they're like, what the fuck?
Like, fuck you.
Yeah, no, I mean like close family members. Like if they start crying, I start to cry because I'm like, oh my god, you're feeling so much pain right now.
see, and I'm like that with like close family members, close friends. But
think
I'm
that's
like,
all chicks,
I
right?
can't. No, I'm like,
The only dude in here, I gotta say it.
can't do it. But like, if I feel bad or like guilty, I'll just be like, I have to leave.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, I can't do it.
I once had a
You like destroy
boy.
boys.
I do. No, but I once
Wow.
did have a boy ask if he could stay the night after I broke up with him. So like he was crying, I was crying. Like I mean, I was crying because I felt bad. Like I was like, I don't want to do this, but like also I really fucking do.
Oh my god.
And then he was like, so like, can I stay? And I was like, no. Get the fuck out of my
Wow.
house.
Is this what
I'm thinking
Yes,
Oh
100%.
God.
Jeez.
Just
But
broke
that's
up with
awkward.
you. Like, get the hint.
Get out. Like that. Normally you
Was
don't
there
wanna
was
see
there
people,
any
right?
like pity sex?
No, absolutely not.
Awkward.
Not from that.
That would have been just terrible.
That would have just been like, I hate myself, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, you probably would have felt super shame after that one.
Yeah.
But there's also a flip side too, because I'm a pretty confident person, and like when I went to go kiss her the first time, I didn't ask. I
That was
just
awkward.
grabbed her ass, fucking gave her a kiss,
I patted him
she-
on the back.
and she. Well, for one, she froze like a bug.
I was like,
She was like that. I was like, what the fuck? Because we had like a really fun first date. I took her like,
Yeah,
we drank
it was so
40s in the
much
park.
fun.
We went to like
in San
this.
Francisco.
We went to Paxton Gay. We walked like Graffiti Alley. We went to like a
we had a
fancy
great
dinner.
time.
We were like super vibing and everything.
Nice,
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is tight, dude. This chick's awesome. Yeah, and then at the end, I was just like, hey, come here, you know. And then she was like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? I was like, all right, peace, I guess,
It's like,
dude.
good job,
love
player.
that so much.
No, but then
Good
he
game.
got on Bart and I texted him right away. I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what just happened.
Let's try again.
Oh my God.
I've done the pity lie because I remember first date with a guy. He stuck his tongue in my mouth, and I was not prepared for that. And he was like, yeah, I really, really like you, and I was like, yeah, I'm like you too. Even though it like it tasted like cigarettes, and it was just it was one of those things where like it was a nice kiss at first, and then he just like invaded my mouth, and I was like, oh my god, no, oh my god, this is a horror movie. Stop.
Mouth raped you.
Inspecting the molars.
God,
Checking on those tonsils.
he
Real,
was
real quick, we got time for another sponsor.
yeah.
It's flying by today.
I know. This episode is also brought to you by Mod Ministry. Mod Ministry merch creates for the edgy woman, the kind of woman who works hard but plays much harder, who embraces femininity but tests the societal limits. We are not for the faint of heart. We are bold. We are beautiful. Check out the Mod Ministry Etsy page for handmade harness lingerie. 5-star rated seller since 2014. And
Not
I'm wearing
2-star.
one-
Not 3-star.
Jordan's my model today.
Not
Yes.
4-star.
Wearing the Terran harness.
Fucking 5-star.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
buying
she
all your
was buying
shit.
some stuff for me.
It's so cute too. But man, I got stood up that night too, which was
Oh,
awkward.
fuck.
I
Really?
put that shit
What?
on.
What?
Yeah. This boy's dumb.
I bet if you send him a picture and be like, you're missing
know.
out, dude, he would have been like, oh, fuck.
He would have been.
Killed
That's
himself.
also what I'm thinking of.
The recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But like, I put it on and I was like, hell yes. I look so cute.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I was just sitting in my
Yeah.
bed alone in the pentagram harness top and the cute little spider web.
But I bet you still felt cute.
I did. And then I just
Too
went
cute
to sleep
for that
in it 'cause
boy.
I was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I was too cute for that boy.
I know. I told you that like 40 times.
R.I.P.
You're missing out, whoever you are.
Yeah, fuck you. I'm just kidding.
Call me.
Please, I swear, I'll put the harness back on.
My friend called it a booby net, and I was like,
That's something Ryan would say.
"Fuck,
Yeah,
a booby net."
my line of work can get pretty awkward. When
Well,
people
yeah.
ask what I do, like I go to Joann's and I swear I buy fabric and they're like, "What are you doing with this?" And like, you really want to know? Because I get the craziest looks. Like I'm making an outfit for some stripper. Blah blah blah.
Remember the old lady when we were walking our kid that she was like insistent on seeing what you did?
Oh yeah.
We were like, 'cause we
Ooh.
live in like a super
our new neighbor.
conventional neighborhood. You know, they're very like religious kind of people.
Religious.
And we're
older
like walking.
crowd.
Most people just avoid us, you know, but we like to take our dogs and our little son around the block. And this nice old lady came out and she's like, "Hi, I've never seen you guys." We're like, "Oh, we got this house over here." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And we're from California. And she's like, "Okay, what do you do?" And then that's the other Texas thing is they grill you. Everybody you meet.
We want to know
Grills you.
every
So nosy.
single thing about
Yeah.
you.
And then she's
Check
like,
out
"So
for-
what do you do?" And then Kylie's just, her normal thing is, "I'm a fashion designer. I
Yeah,
have a fashion
I'm a
line."
fashion designer.
And then she's like, "What kind of fashion?" And she's like, "Well, lingerie." And she's like, "Well, do you have something I can see?" And then
Damn.
Kylie's like, "Well,
Really?
you know,
want me to
it
whip out
might,
the tits right
yeah,
now.
it might be a little racy for you, you know." She's like, "No, let me see," you know. And then they start looking, and then
Damn.
she's like, "Oh, you know, my granddaughter might like this or whatever, you know."
Jeez.
Good. You should get it for her for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah, it's funny.
Jeez.
If got me that shit, I'd be like, hell yeah, Grandma. I fucking love this.
Do you guys ever do like dumb, awkward stuff? Like one time I was at 7-Eleven
Every day of my life.
and I used to carpool with my buddy Adam, duffel bag porn guy. And he has a black Honda Civic, right?
Yeah.
And I went into 7-Eleven and I came back out and I got into the black Honda Civic and I'm like eating food and just waiting for Adam to get out of there. And then this fucking dude in the back, he's like, "Hey, dude, do you need something?" Like, you know, because he's waiting for his friend to get out, right? And I'm like, "What the fuck you doing in Adam's car, dude?" And he's like, "This isn't Adam's car, bro." I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I literally like spilled chips, you know, because Adam's.
Just, like,
And I'm like,
here
"Oh
there.
fuck, my bad," and then I just hopped out, you know.
Did you
guys
get
ever
your
done
chips?
shit like that?
Someone's
Is
car?
it just a dude
No.
thing?
Well, no, I think I've gone up to people who I thought was my mom, and I'm like, "Hey, mom," and they turn around and it's not my mom, and I'm like, "Oh, no, you're not my mom."
He put his arm around my sister.
Yeah. We were at like a Christmas party, right? And then they, you know how like families, they like, I forgot what they were doing. They were playing like a game or something.
Karaoke, probably.
But everybody was looking at somebody for some
Yeah.
reason, right? And we all stood up and had to go over there. And then her sister and her are like the same height.
But like we are total opposites. I have tattoos. She doesn't.
But I wasn't
She's
looking.
blonde. I have black hair. I don't know how.
I wasn't looking though. And then I grabbed Courtney, but I thought it was Kylie. And then I pulled her close to me, and then she's like, "Hey, I think you grabbed the wrong person." And then I'm at a family gathering, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" And they kind of like pushed her
her?
away. Yeah.
Shove her on the ground. No.
Was that before we were married?
No, I think we were married by then.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
I've done like stupid safety issue stuff.
Yeah.
So at my old apartment, when my boyfriend and I first moved in together,
Forgot
we
your safe
lived,
word.
No. I always remember that.
Bananas.
We were living in an apartment that was not the best part of town. And so he goes to work at, well, now I'll just announce it to all of your viewers. He goes to work at like 4 a.m. And there were a lot of hobos in that area. So they would wait for him to go to work and then knock on my door
Oh fuck no.
at like 5 in the morning. And I would like stand there with my dog who like looks very intimidating. He's like 75 pounds. He would just stand there like smiling like, "Are you going to open it? Are you going to open the door?" And I'd be standing there like, "Bark, do something." And so then one day I was walking inside from my car and one of the hobos that was like a regular comes up to me and is
Yeah.
like, hey, do you have any money? And I was like, I don't. And he was like, I'll clean your car for $3. And I was like, bro, if I had $3, I'd just give it to you. Like, I wouldn't want to put you through that. Like, that's warfare in there. Don't worry about it. And then I turned around and I was like, hey, do you know who knocks on my door at 5 a.m? And he goes, no, I'm just getting out of bed then. And then without thinking, I just go, where? And he goes, what? And I was like, nothing. Don't worry about that. And then he goes, I said, well, someone knocks at my door at 5 a.m, almost every morning. And my boyfriend goes to work at 4. And so then in my mind, I'm like, what are you doing? Put it all back.
Yeah.
Put it all back that you're home
laying
alone.
it out for him.
And
He's
then
like,
I
all right,
said,
let me.
yeah, and I was like, so like it just like it really makes my dog really anxious, and like he's really big, and like his anxiety is like terrible.
He's killed a
And
man.
then he goes, yeah, and then I'm like standing there, and he goes, no, I don't know, but like, and then he asked me for money again, and finally I was like, no, dude, like I'm selling things I own to pay my rent, and he goes, well, what do you have? And then I'm like, great, so now you think I've got valuables, which really was just like those pop vinyl toys that were like the Beanie Babies of 2015.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, it's just like toys. Don't worry about it. Anyways, I'm alone at 5 a.m. I'll see you never. Please don't knock on my door. Goodbye. And I like go inside. And then I tell my boyfriend, I'm like, he knows that I'm alone. And he goes, why? Why do you talk to strangers?
And give him your schedule.
I know. I was like, he came up to me and he was like, but you don't need to tell him that you're alone at 5 a.m. What went through your head? And I was like, I don't know, nothing, apparently. And then he just goes, are you dumb? Because we're 6 years into this. And I guess I just didn't realize that you're as dumb as you are. But now I'm starting to see it. And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm dumb. I got nothing for you. But the knocking did stop. So I was like, bitch, it was you. It was you. It was a terrifying year. We moved. And we did not renew our lease at that apartment. Which was hard because it was like $600 a month for 1,100 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Boo.
Yeah.
And then I like told him, I was like, I can't live here anymore. I can't sleep at night. But now I'm like, I could have gotten over it. Yeah. I could have been fine for that.
Damn. Put 12 deadbolts like on your
I
door.
thought about like home aloneing it because I got a coworker of mine gave me a stun gun.
Paint cans and
He
shit
just
all
like
hanging
gave it to
everywhere.
me. He was like, "Here, you need to be safe."
Yeah,
and I was
here.
like, "Thank you." And because I was a realtor, and so he was like, "Take this." And so then I thought about like, if I put it against my metal doorknob, will it like shock him if he touches the doorknob? And my dad, I did not, because my dad was like, no, Macaulay Culkin, it won't fucking work. You're an idiot. And I was like, great, okay, great. Do you have any paint cans I could string from the door? But that's the dumb shit I do.
Yeah.
All right, it's that time of our show where we read comments from our fans. It's called Life in the Comment Section.
Okay.
Want to kick it off there, Jordan?
Sure. Okay, so the first one is from Alan Bradfield 72 from Instagram. He says, definitely her nest. He's talking about the Cribs Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen, we have a Patreon, and one of our Patreons asked us to make a Cribs episode of our like house and shit.
Yeah.
I love your house. Like every time you would show something, I'm like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I love that.
We have a gothic-y Halloween house.
Yeah.
Love it.
And,
Still,
I mean,
it's
you
great.
do decorate the whole thing, but
Yeah, but
I
we
like
have
it. I
very
don't know.
similar tastes and styles. So
Yeah.
That must be nice.
it's not- yeah.
there's
it
only
is
one
nice.
room in our house that I don't dig that much.
It's nice.
It looks like some
He
Chip and
should.
Joanna shit. You know?
No, okay.
It does.
And then he wants to. He's like, oh, Cribs episode. He brings home a guitar and a metal sign with our last name on it. He's like, where can we hang these?
We need to look cooler, stat.
Oh my God.
I had to
So
man it
they're
up a
not
little
hanging.
bit.
We compromised.
Oh, good.
They're hanging in our house.
Yeah, if you guys ever come to our house, you
That's
see.
my sort of.
Doorway and upstairs hallway.
There you go.
See, that's my kind of compromise.
It's like, it can
It's
go
like, well, it's in the house. You're
Yeah.
welcome. That is a type of compromise.
Like you got it good.
Yeah. Okay, next one is from Scuba Dadu. Scuba Da Doo
Scuba Da Doo.
on Instagram. I haven't been this excited about a show since Howard Stern. You know that new sound you're looking for? Marvin Berry, Back to the Future.
Yeah, it's that part where he's
That's
like,
where
he's
he
like,
does-
you know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this.
There you go.
So there you
That's
go.
us.
That's our shitty stories.
Yeah. Subscribe.
Shout out to that dude. If you guys haven't checked it out, check out our Patreon. We do all kinds of crazy shit on there, not just straight podcast style. We play games.
Yep.
We give tours of our
People
shit.
get schooled in Mario Kart.
Ew.
Let's not talk about that.
Actually terrible. Mario
Yeah, I'm
Kart.
so
I can't
awful
finish
at
it.
Mario Kart.
I always get fucked up in the Patreons. I had a skate contest with some dude and I ate shit. Yeah, actually, never mind. Don't subscribe to that shit. You guys want to tell everybody where they can hear your podcast?
Oh, yeah.
And what it's called and
What it's about.
So
we have a
there's
podcast.
funny story. Go on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
It's called What's Your Excuse?
It's a podcast. And awkward moment here now. Anyways, we are on Apple Podcast, Spoofy, Spotify.
Spotify.
Spoofy.
What else?
Spoofy. Yeah.
Nice.
What is your podcast about?
Right.
So it is about excuses that people use to get out of things or
Literally
to do things.
anything. We've talked about excuses for murder because
Yeah, we
big
both
true
love
crime
murder.
junkies.
Yeah.
I should
High
word that
five.
differently.
But you guys like
Holla.
you celebrate.
Murder.
It's not a negative excuses. You guys celebrate excuses, right?
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
enjoy
I mean,
them thoroughly.
Sometimes because we got some, like we've done like a few drunk driving episodes of people who
Yeah.
excuses they've used to get out of like drunk driving and stuff, and like some of them were like, nah.
Well, there was that one
fucking
about
dumb.
there was also the teacher who claimed that I'm going to tell y'all this one if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for
There
it.
was a teacher once that had used all of his he had
Sick
already
days,
ran out of sick
everything.
days, ran out of how many family members he could kill off.
Oh, no.
So
Grandma's dead for the
he
third
then
time
decided
this
to
week.
call in and say, I hit a little girl on my way to school.
Yup.
And described the sound of her bones under the
crushing.
tires.
Hey.
None of it was real.
Oh my
All an
god.
excuse that he made
Motherfucker
up.
sat at home. All
Yeah.
day.
What a fucking
Why?
psychopath.
Exactly. And I was like,
that's
know
what you
he's
went
done it
with?
before.
Bro.
Like, how is that your first like?
Wow.
I need to get out of work.
Hit
I
a
wasn't
child.
like I shit my
Ran over
pants
girl.
before I
Yeah.
hit the girl on the
Explosive
street.
diarrhea
Yeah.
is one of my favorites.
Right.
You know, that's Mara had a seizure.
Exactly. See.
Yep.
But it's about excuses you can use to get out of everyday shit. And so we've covered all sorts of excuses.
First
from
dates,
celebrity,
gyms.
first dates, yeah. I don't know. Fucking yeah. How to get out of just anything.
Yeah.
Really. Tests.
Dang, I might have to listen to that.
Yeah.
How do I get out of this?
And it is nowhere near official as
Yeah,
this.
no, don't get your hopes up at
Our
all.
sound quality is.
Hey, you know what? Some of the best podcasts I've listened to are out of people's bedrooms or
It is
basements or
out of my
kitchens.
shit-ass living dining room.
First episode we recorded, we both ended up in tears
Aww.
because of Kiki.
Oh, I have a cat. She's very loud.
Oh no.
She was screaming in the background.
Oh,
So we had to scrap it.
Yeah.
Obviously. It
I
is a
like edited
Patreon.
it all. Yeah. It is
So,
a
like,
Patreon perk.
You can hear that.
So you
We do have a Patreon
also.
as well.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty fun.
So-
We've got a few different tiers. Yeah, and you can find us on Instagram, Facebook. We're there. Our Instagram is not super active.
Yeah. We are not reliable.
But we'll put all the
If
info
we're
below,
honest.
We're funny, but we are not consistent.
That's true. Very true. The summer proved very difficult for recording.
Yeah.
Anyways, we love it here. We
Yeah.
have a great time.
Yes, thank
We
you
love
guys
this
for
podcast
coming.
too.
Thank
This is a good
you.
time.
We got some shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out to Oscar, my fiance, for fixing up my fucking finger that I tore the nail off.
Ugh.
So he was a champ. Like the whole he was kind of freaking out at first, and then he bulked up and he was like, I got this, babe. And he was like, I don't do good with blood, but he did minor surgery in our kitchen. It was great. I was like, my hero. Thank you.
Shout out to Oscar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
time.
That's love.
Amen.
I'll give a shout out to Oni-chan for kicking ass last episode and keep Waco loud. That was a
Yeah.
super fun one.
Yeah, it was.
Shout out to our guests tonight. that's about it.
I want to give a shout out to Eastside Market because without that, I wouldn't have met
That's right.
Caitlin, who then introduced us to Megan,
Yeah.
and this is awesome.
It actually is like a super cool thing too.
Yeah,
I
so
love it.
random.
I'm excited.
She was buying some stuff for me, and I was like, "Oh, here's a flyer. It has like my podcast on it." She's like, "No way, I have a podcast too."
Probably a very accurate impression of that moment.
Wait.
I want to see about getting a booth
That
there,
was, like,
actually.
right before-
Yeah.
Me too.
We'll hook you up with all the info.
Yeah.
The cups.
Shout out your cups, dude.
Oh, you made that?
Yes.
It's so cute.
Yeah,
Shut the hell up!
thank you.
I want
That's
one.
awesome.
Okay.
I want one.
So I have an Instagram. It's Shop Dandy Aesthetic.
I'm writing that down.
And I also have a Facebook that's just Dandy Aesthetic.
I love tumblers. I love them so much. Every time I see like designs, I'm like, oh, I don't.
Yeah.
I would not use it, but I just want to have it. I just want to have it in case I ever use
Put
it.
it on my
Yeah.
shelf.
You
Yeah.
can take it. I take mine to Starbucks every day and just like
Fill
this
it up.
Yeah, I have a Beetlejuice one I use every day.
Oh, that's
Cute.
awesome.
You guys got some shout outs?
I used to that. I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a store too, but I don't know. But it's
A
mine's,
store?
Mine's not. I do run a boutique here in Waco.
Oh, okay. What is
but
it?
It's called Gray Apparel. GRAE. We're fun. But yeah, probably not like this feel. It's just for like your basic ass bitch. Not really. We do bring some like pretty modern styles to Waco because
Yeah.
my clothing, you can't tell today, is typically pretty way the fuck.
Yeah,
out
your Instagram
there. Wear
is
some weird shit.
interesting.
Where you
like those outfits are awesome.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
to just put whatever I can find on my body. But yeah, so we have a little bit of that stuff at my store. We have some funny stuff too, like some
Nice.
good gift stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're inside Spice Village. It's pretty.
Cool.
If you're ever
Okay.
up there, I literally live there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just come say hi. I'm there
Cool.
all the time.
Awesome.
And
Tight.
then besides
Come
that, I
by.
don't know.
We'll definitely check out their podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Later.
Bye.